Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome back to the Smash Controllers podcast. Today, I got the homie Muddy on here. Give it up for Muddy, everybody. Woo! What's going on, Muddy? How you doing today, man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good myself. So, we're finally able to link up. So tell me about yourself a little bit. I know you do art, and we've been following each other for
For
forever.
a
Let's
minute.
just say forever.
Yeah,
So, so tell me how you got your start with art.
man, my start, it always goes back to like early childhood. My earliest memories are like being 7 years old and I was really into action figures at the
Mm-hmm.
time. And Batman, superhero action figures, Spider-Man, and I used to have my dad would trace the action figure and then I would color it with like crayons and pencils. So that was like my earliest memory of like drawing, I guess, drawing and coloring. And then yeah, in elementary school, it got a little more imaginative than that. I think the first comic I ever wrote was in like fourth grade. That's another funny story of like a really impactful fourth grade teacher
Mm-hmm.
that was just like the coolest teacher ever. And she just was a character. She was this old white lady. There was one day she was like, one kid kept asking to go to the bathroom, but he was kind of disruptive. But she didn't like yell at him or anything, and she knew he was playing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even remember the kid's name, but I remember her going like, "You can't go to the bathroom yet. You gotta wait for Chuck." And there was no kid in the class named Chuck. And she's just like, "Yeah, Chuck is one of our imaginary students." Like she just played it like that. And then one day I just drew a character and I'm like, this is Chuck, and wrote like a whole story about Chuck. And it was like, started writing comic books about Chuck. And to be honest, it was like a straight ripoff of Dragon Ball. Chuck was like Gohan.
Yeah.
And I like wrote the Dragon Ball arc where Piccolo is training Gohan after the Raditz fight.
Mm-hmm.
If you're familiar with Dragon Ball Z,
Definitely.
assuming you are,
Yeah.
just from what you're into. Is very similar to what I'm into. But yeah, I like wrote a whole comic book short story of like Chuck getting trained because his dad, she thought it was the most creative thing ever. And I mean, it still was technically, but it just was heavily inspired and influenced and ripped off of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Old.
And I understand that.
Yeah,
Dragon Ball Z was very influential.
very influential. So that was like my first original character, original comic book storyline. And then I'd say like junior high, high school, I kind of fell off of like drawing. I got into like running track, running
Mm-hmm.
cross country, and then like later in my high school years picked it back up again. Like it was always there, but I'd say from like age 7 to age 13 it was heavy, and then it was like on pause a little bit, and then it was like picking up again at 17, 18. Then I picked up a graffiti habit
Mm-hmm.
till about like 22, 23 when I got caught doing graffiti and I was like, I ain't even trying to do all this. Like, I don't care to write my name everywhere. I'm more into characters anyway. So let me go try canvas instead.
Yeah, let me do something safe.
Yeah, let me uh let me get safe again. And then I started probably painting on canvas with paintbrush at like 23, 24.
Okay.
And now I'm 36, so it's been like 10, 12 years of painting, illustrating, drawing with pencils, coloring with markers, painting with brushes and spray paint. That's pretty much how we got here. And in the past 10 years, I've like developed my own characters and storylines, and really because I would just like express how I was feeling through an original character. And eventually I was drawing those characters so much to express different feelings that they started to get their own stories.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm gonna write a comic about the character stories. So it kind of all ties in like that. Or I guess the best way to summarize where I am as an artist right now is like the art exhibit that I've got up right now, 9 paintings and
Mm-hmm.
9 comic book illustrations.
Okay.
And basically each painting is, a narrative driven, character focused expression of something I was going through at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wrote a comic book page, a single comic books page short story, kind of depicting what the parallel the character was going through.
Right.
So it's like each painting has 2 meanings coming from me, and then the third meaning is like whatever a stranger gets from looking at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're more of a traditional artist and digital artist, or do you do both?
I do a digital as well. I guess, yeah, I didn't mention that, but I got an iPad like how many years ago? Maybe 7 years ago, and started drawing on that. That was like the first and only drawing tablet I've ever used, just drawing in a program called Procreate.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I use that to like draw and illustrate, and even my comic book, I'll a lot of times I'll like draw a panel on paper,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll take a picture of it, I'll run it through like a filter, and then I'll polish it up digitally and kind of like arrange the panels and the word bubbles and the dialogue all on the iPad.
Okay. So can you tell us a little bit about your characters, your comic?
Yeah. So the comic that I'm still working on volume one of is
Mm-hmm.
called Onion City Chronicle, and the Onion City theme or the word is like a play on Chicago, where I'm from. Chicago, there's like I looked it up, but like I learned this like back in the day in like a Chicago history class or something, but like the word derives from like a Native American word that translates to onion because like there was like a lot of onion plants in the area before, the skyscrapers came
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So it just like made sense to put my characters into a world that was like I mean it's basically Chicago, but it's like my parallel world to Chicago and other places that I've lived and visited. It's got like the comic book world of Onion City. It's like the paintings live in Onion City too, but then the comic
Mm-hmm.
book takes place in a version of that that's more cyberpunk. It's like Cowboy Bebop, cyberpunk, Final Fantasy VII, and
Okay.
like Akira put together is how I'm kind
Mm-hmm.
of crafting this like dystopian parallel universe. Um, so that's where the Onion City part comes in, and it's like the setting is a character of its own. The way people say like Gotham is its own character, as much as like
Yeah.
Batman and his friends and foes are. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and then in terms of the characters, it started off with like an inner child character that I had named Ahmed the
Mm-hmm.
Alchemist. I'm like looking around my desk if I have any quick reference to that character. No, definitely not on me. Yeah, he's like
That's
my
all
inner
right.
child character.
Mm-hmm.
I started with him because I was kind of just depicting him in paintings where he was like battling with inner struggles and inner anxieties that
Mm-hmm.
manifested into like physical night demon characters. And he's kind of like striking a balance of like, does he channel his inner strength or does he channel the demon? It's kind of like a Naruto
Right.
situation where the demon is sealed inside. But in his case, it's
Mm-hmm.
like the demons got out and eventually he kind of fades away. He has this stuffed animal. I don't know if you've seen my blue character that's always flying around in the jetpack.
Yeah.
You probably have. If you just open my Instagram, you'll see this blue character that's always smoking. He looks like a teddy bear kind of
Yeah.
with like a beanie on and always flying around in the jetpack. But he's at one point he was just a stuffed animal, But when that inner child character
Mm-hmm.
was losing himself, he kind of gave what remained of his essence to the stuffed animal, and that animal, that toy became like a being, if you will.
Okay.
So it wasn't alive, then it
Hey.
like
Okay.
it gained a spirit essentially and became this like it's like your childhood best friend as a kid might be your favorite toy, and then that toy came to life, but
Uh huh.
sadly you weren't no longer there and the toy remembers you. So he's kind of like living
Yeah.
with a grief of like I'm alive now, but I lost my friend. And now he's
Man.
like many years in the future and he's trying to like save the city that's been kind of taken over by these night demon rulers. And
Uh huh.
you know he's trying to recruit different people. This character here, her name is Mona. She's like a badass character who is like supposed to be like a descendant of my inner child character. And Snow, the
Mm-hmm.
blue guy, is trying to like recruit her to save the city, but he's got this great plan to see if she could go back in time and save his friend, which is the inner child character, Ahmed.
Okay.
So that's kind of
Okay.
like a very long-winded answer about like the comic, but
Uh,
yeah.
no, it's all right. Sound like Kingdom Hearts almost.
Yeah, it's got a lot of like Dragon Ball with the Trunks storyline, traveling back in time to like destroy
Mm-hmm.
the androids and save Goku before he had that heart attack or whatever it was
Yeah.
uh, in the Android saga. So there's like that influence. There's her entire like I'm like trying to find a full body shot of Mona, but I'm like her entire like character design is like it's like to me it's like Trunks meets Cloud from Final Fantasy VII
Hey.
in terms of like her clothing is kind of Cloud. Then she's got the katana, which is
Mm-hmm.
not really Cloud, but it's like sword on the back. I always think Cloud and I think
Yeah.
Trunks anytime I think of a sword on the back of a character.
Mm-hmm.
But she's supposed to be the last of a gifted group or a gifted race known as the Indigo race in this world, which is like my ripoff of the mutants from X-Men. So that's like
Okay.
another influence in the this Onion City comic book world is like it's like dystopian if like all the X-Men lost and there's like one or two
Yeah.
remaining mutants left. So it's really a blend of like
That's
every comic, cartoon, video game influence I ever loved has like been
mm-hmm.
thrown in a blender to build this world.
How long have you been working on it? I know I think you said it earlier, but just to reiterate, how
I
long you
think
been working on it?
the first character from this like world that I drew was the inner child character, and I think I drew him. I remember exactly where I drew him. I drew him while I was waiting in an Apple store to get like my phone fixed. I like had this idea for this character who's like got like a manifestation of a demon around him. It was like 2015, maybe 2016.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like the beginning of like developing that character. He's got these demons and he's got this
Okay.
like guardian angel wolf that came out of nowhere to like help him out. Later, I developed the story where that wolf is actually Mona because she's going to travel
Mm-hmm.
back in time in a time machine that's like flawed and it's like transforming people into animals when they move back in time.
Hey.
So she's like goes in this time machine. She's like, I'm a badass with a sword. I could do anything. I'm gonna go help my ancestor out. And then she arrives and she's like, I feel
mm-hmm.
funny. And she's got four legs. She's like a blue wolf who's cool in its own right, but she's just like, what? I'm a wolf now? Like, what is this? So, yeah,
I like it. I'm already sold. When I get my copy, I just need you to sign it. That's all. I just need
yeah.
you to sign it for me.
I got like 30 pages to go, I think. It's been a
mm-hmm.
mission. I was trying to finish it last year, and it's because I started it on and off the past, I'd say 8 years, because like, you know, it's hard to focus as an artist because at times I'm like, no, I gotta get recognized as a painter. I gotta work on these paintings,
Mm-hmm.
and then I kind of like figured out my way to bring both together was to, you know,
Mm-hmm.
do this Onion City Memories show that was like, I'm gonna blend 9 paintings, 9 comic book pages, and it keeps like the lore of the story going. It's separate from the actual comic book. It's still all the same world, but these are like short stories to kind of
Okay.
like tie into each painting. And I'm like, that way I could like feed my or scratch my, trying to be a fine artist itch um, by
Mm-hmm.
like blending fine art and comic books. And then, you know, after I did that, I was like, okay, I'm not doing another art show for a while, so let me just try to dive in on the comic book and try to finish it. Didn't finish it, and let me back up. So the show that I'm doing right now is called Onion City Memories. It's an exhibit at a
Okay.
gallery in Chicago called Connect Gallery. But I don't know if you're aware, but this is the second run of the show. So I did it first
Oh
in
no, I had no
January
idea.
2024. January
Okay.
2024, I worked with this space that it was an art center, not necessarily like a main gallery. It's like this, Chicago has a
Mm-hmm.
few different art centers, but this one specifically is like 6 stories. It's like a giant warehouse of a building. People could get married there. There's like venues for like
Mm-hmm.
weddings and events and whatnot. But one of their floors has like gallery space for anybody to rent. So I rented the space
Mm-hmm.
for, I guess, a 1 month period or like a 5 week period. It might have been 6 weeks. But basically, their
Okay.
space, they do one event a month. And the
Mm-hmm.
first event that they did was like my opening night. And then the second event they did was like
Mm-hmm.
my closing night. And they were great events. Both nights, a bunch of people came. It was awesome to talk to like, I say this all the time, like talking to 10 people in real life, like, and having like a deep dive about all your work
Mm-hmm.
beats the fire emoji on Instagram any day.
Yeah.
So, they were great nights, but at the end of the day, the work was up in a gallery space on the third floor in a building that's in like a residential neighborhood. So like nobody walking the street could have
Mm-hmm.
seen my art and like gone, oh, let me pop into there.
Yeah.
So that entire time, like a year later after that, I was like, I have ideas. I've got plans for my next art show, but I just felt like I didn't do the first one justice.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I should really try to like get it in like a gallery, not like a space that I rent, but like a gallery with like
Yeah.
gallery owner, a gallery team where they like, they curate the show, they promote it, they do a lot of that heavy lifting and it has like good street view.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 years later, I find a gallery to work with, meet them through a friend. We're going back and forth about timing, and we finally land on a time. And now we have this show from January to February 27th.
Okay.
And yeah, we had the opening night a couple weeks ago, which was cool. Very cold day in Chicago, but I mean, that's winter. And no, it's been good so far. We've got an event this weekend. We've got a couple more events before we close up the show, but it just feels good that it was like in a space where people might be seeing the work every day.
Uh-huh.
Even if they don't even come in, they might like peek in. Because even when I was there, I would see people like walking their dog and going like, "Oh, what's in there?" Because you could see the work from the street.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's important because these people are they're from the neighborhood. They're gonna pop in eventually to see the work. Whereas the other space, it was like, it was up for 6 weeks, but people only saw it 2 nights.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, whether these pieces sell, whether they don't sell, I still feel good. Like I feel like people saw it.
Yeah.
So I can move on to like the next art show or whatever.
Hmm.
But before that, I think my goal is to finish volume one of Onion City Chronicle, and then I'll start working on paintings or working on paintings at the same time. But yeah, that was my long-winded answer to
No, it's all right.
why it's taken 10 years and
That's all
still haven't
right.
finished.
No, it's a-okay. Hey, I mean, life happens. You know, you're doing other stuff besides just strictly
Yeah,
working on it. So that makes sense. Are you self-taught or did you go to school for art or?
I'd say I'm like entirely self-taught or online taught. Like I might have taken like one art class in elementary school, but then so like elementary, junior high, trying to think, high school, uh, I would always draw with pencil. So I was
Hmm.
like fairly confident in my sketching ability, but I was always scared to like dive into markers. I just like could never figure it out. And then eventually I did because I started to like graffiti in my notebooks with markers and Sharpies and whatnot. Um, but then it was like, okay, I messed with spray paint a little, but I'm like never used a paintbrush. And then in my early 20s, I was like, no, I want to get good with like painting on canvas.
Hmm.
And I remember trying it on my own, and I was like, it just did not look good. I tried to draw like a character illustration, and I was
Hmm.
like trying to figure out these paintbrushes. I just did not understand it. And I was like, at the time, I don't feel like this was like 2013.
Hmm.
I don't feel like there was a lot of like YouTube content in 2013 about like acrylic painting and oil paint. Now it's like if you go on YouTube, you could find shorts and TikToks that'll teach
Yeah.
you how to be like a master painter.
Agreed.
But in 2013, not so much. So I was like, maybe I should like look into like an art class. Like I didn't go to art school. I went
Hmm.
to college for accounting and finance. So I've got an accounting degree
Hey.
that pays the bills. But yeah, I was like, let me find an art class. I found an art center because, like I said, Chicago's got art centers everywhere. And I took like one class that was called like from drawing to painting. I'm like, oh, this is for me. I know how to draw. I don't know how to paint. So I took that class, and then I took like a painting fundamentals class. And it was like they were both like 5-week classes that were like 2 hours long.
Hmm.
So it was like 10 hours each of some formal painting training, if you
Hmm.
will. And then after that, it was just like YouTube, social media, trying to pick up on techniques and whatnot. Picked up a lot from just like watching other painters' time lapses, actually,
Yeah.
which is great because sometimes it's like a lot of times you need commentary to like
Hmm.
learn things, and then sometimes I was just like watching stuff with no commentary, and I'm like, oh, that's why my paint wasn't drying correctly. It's like, oh, this guy started with this color. I like learned to start with dark colors first with acrylic,
Hmm.
building up layers from there. Because before I used to just like, yeah, I mean, I just didn't know what I was doing. So
Hmm.
I'd be like painting like a thin layer, and I'm like, why is it coming out so transparent, like it
Yeah.
looks so sloppy or whatever, but you gotta just like trial and error your way through it and then you'll figure it out. Same thing with markers. Like I wanted to get better at markers and I was discovering artists that would like, I don't know if you're familiar with Paper Frank from Atlanta.
Yeah.
He's fire.
Yeah.
I feel like I learned a lot about using markers just watching him because I'm like, his marker work looks like a painting.
Yeah.
And then this other dude who I think is from England named Terrence Unchained on Instagram.
Okay. I think I've seen him before as well.
Yeah, he's crazy because he'll use markers, then he'll use like white paint to make it lighter, and then he'll go over it with marker again. So I was like, I picked up everything I knew about markers from like those two guys.
Okay. Yeah. My first introduction to markers was Paper Frank and Action Hank Beard.
Action Hang Beard is the legend with Copics. I was just talking about him with another friend on Instagram
Mm.
yesterday because I'm like, this guy is just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, those three for sure. Paper Frank is the reason my Instagram is Mahmoud the Medium
Mm-hmm.
because one time I like commented on one of his paintings. I was trying to figure out if it was like oil paint or acrylics. I was like, "Yo, what medium do you use?" And he was
Mm-hmm.
like, "I am the medium." And I was like, "That's super fire. That's gonna be my name now
Yeah.
because I
But can
too
you answer
like to
my
play with
question?
every medium." Because I was like, I'm using pencils, I'm using markers, I'm using acrylic paint. I've dabbled with like sculpting, which
Mm-hmm.
is another thing I'm trying to do with, with all these characters. I'm like, I need to make a toy of one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, that's where the medium came in, which is funny because I've had people ask me if I was like a psychic medium, and I'm like, no, that wasn't what I meant. I'm like, I meant like creative mediums or like artistic mediums, but I could see where you got confused there.
Hey, you gotta open your third eye.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you said creating figures, I want to get into 3D printing a little bit.
Mhm.
I gotta do a little more research. Is that something you probably be interested in as well? Or maybe you dabbled in it a little bit?
No, I didn't dabble in it again because I have no time, but somehow I'm always picking up something new.
Mm.
I've dabbled a little bit in like 3D sculpting. I don't even want to say I've dabbled. I've downloaded an app and like looked around
Okay.
because I'm like, oh, this could be like a good way to, see what that looks like. It'll be a little more refined than hand sculpting, but I do kind of like how hand sculpting looks handmade.
Yeah.
Whereas like with 3D sculpting, I mean, maybe I'm just saying that because every 3D sculptor I've seen is really good. So they like their shit looks like, Fisher Price or one of them toy brands like made it. It's very smooth, perfect shapes. And I like that. And I'm like, I've also thought of like blending the two where I'm like, maybe I sculpt this figure and then I get it scanned and then maybe touch it up digitally and then get it 3D printed. So I've thought about that as well. Haven't like bought a 3D printer or anything. I'm like, if I ever were, I'd probably start with like going to a place that'll print out your stuff for you.
Okay.
Last thing I need is to spend money on a machine that I don't fully like understand the process yet.
Hey, marketplace, man.
Yeah.
That's where I'm on marketplace all the time, looking at stuff I may or may not buy.
Man, and TikTok Shop be tempting all the time. I don't know what TikTok Shop is connected to. I don't know if it's connected to Temu or like Alibaba, but they be like,
It's gotta
yo,
be.
it's gotta be, right? Like, because it'd be like, oh, we got this that usually costs $100 on Amazon, but we got it for like 15 this week. And I'm like,
Hmm.
what? And I've actually seen 3D printers on there for like
Yeah.
$100. And I'm like, I'm like really exercising discipline to not go and buy.
Yeah. That man, that's some strong discipline.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I'll be on marketplace talking to folks. So is 100 the lowest you're willing to go? What got you into graffiti and like how? Because I love the way graffiti looks, like the trains. I'll get caught by the train sometimes, and if I'm not in a hurry, I'll be like, I just kind of take in the art, and I'm like, man, that's some real talent. I've always kind of wanted to learn to just kind of do it. Maybe
Yeah.
not on a wall, but like just be able to draw it at least. So, what got you into graffiti?
It happened in high school. And I'm trying to think like, I don't know if I could even put my finger on it. It was just like, drawing in the lunchroom and a couple friends of mine, one of my good friends who him and I were always into hip hop music.
Hmm.
It's like it's one of those things where it makes sense like, oh, if you like hip hop music, you probably like graffiti or you probably got into graffiti somehow, but
Yeah.
I can't remember how we got into it.
Hmm.
It was like a combination of things. This is like '09.
Yeah.
No, this is like '07, '08.
Okay.
So like we're listening to rap and hip hop music. YouTube just came out and
Mm-hmm.
we're like picking up this graffiti thing. We're learning about like graffiti forums online. This is when forums were a thing
Yeah.
and blogs and whatnot. And I just remember like discovering these graffiti crews that were posting their train work on YouTube with like Mobb Deep as the song.
Yeah.
And it was like the coolest thing ever to see somebody just like paint over a train in like 5 minutes over a Mobb Deep track.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, we gotta figure this out. So then, with us though, it wasn't like we didn't hit no trains at 17 or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was like there was this like weird tunnel that we like discovered in one of our neighborhoods. I don't even know how we discovered this tunnel. This is another, I don't know if it's a perk or something that just happens if you run track and cross country. When you're on foot running, you like find and discover things
Mm-hmm.
in your neighborhood that you normally wouldn't have found. So it was like a tunnel that was like underneath like a bridge in a neighborhood. I don't want to call it a sewage tunnel, but it was like a water tunnel. It was a rain tunnel, I
Mm-hmm.
think. And it was like obviously secluded.
Yeah.
And we like would walk through it every now and then. And then we started to paint inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where like the first graffiti spray painting I did was inside this dark tunnel with no flashlight. Or did we have, we probably needed a flashlight because we didn't have iPhones with a
Yeah.
flashlight app and then so that was like my earliest memory of like trying to practice or learn how to paint graffiti. And we all were, coming up with our little graffiti names. Mine came from in cross country and track, my coach called me Mud, which was the
Hey.
last three letters of my name, and
Mm-hmm.
then I turned it into Muddy for graffiti,
Mm-hmm.
and it's still what I go by as an artist today. But yeah, that's kind of how it started. It was like, okay, I'm gonna write Muddy everywhere. And then I learned of like the artist Banksy, who was
Mm-hmm.
like a graffiti artist turned, this guy went from just like spray painting the streets and putting up, messages that made you think to doing a show in LA that sold out and making like 100 million and nobody knows who he is.
Yeah.
Like hearing and discovering that story, I was like, oh, okay, so like we could get our name out there. Eventually, like galleries will want to know who we are, which is so funny to think about because I'm like, you weren't Banksy. You were just writing your name everywhere. You weren't writing a message. You were just writing your name at the time. You're like
Yeah.
17, 18. And then it kind of carried into college. Like I would write my name on trains that I was taking to school and whatnot. But then I'm like, you're writing your name, but really like your sketchbook is filled with like character art and fan art and drawing anime characters. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like even if they know the name Muddy, they don't even know that you do all this other stuff.
Yeah.
But it was a fun period in the journey.
I definitely understand that.
Yeah,
I know I wanted to do graffiti. My cousin was better at it, so I just kind of let that pass me by a little bit. But
yeah.
although you speaking of like fan art and stuff, I used to I would have like a favorite series or series that I liked and I would create a character to put in that series.
Mm.
I'm not sure what that would be called, but I did that a lot.
No, it's like it's kind of like fan fiction in a way.
Mm-hmm.
I never did that, and that's so funny because it seems like something I should have done in my art journey. Because yeah, I'm like I'd always draw like Dragon Ball characters, and then it's like I would the things that I was a fan of would influence my style a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So like even if I was drawing like a character that had no name, it was in like a Dragon Ball Z style,
Yeah.
in an Akira Toriyama style. So it's like I'm like, no, but this is my character. It's like, bro, that is a carbon copy. That's like Vegeta with a fade.
Yeah.
but you're acting like it's something new, but it's not.
Yeah. That is my character still.
Yeah,
No, because I wouldn't say I'm a, well, I'll say it. I've always wanted to create my own thing. I always had character ideas, story ideas, even, hey, I'm gonna insert this character who may or may not secretly be me into this series as
yeah,
well. It just always, I don't know, it just something about being creative and doing that. But I say that to say, because I got to a point sometime after high school where I felt like I don't know, I don't want to say it was art block, but it's just like I felt like I forgot how to draw, how to, like,
yeah.
my creativity stopped or something.
Hmm.
And it took me a really long time to pretty much just tap back into it because of the way just life and everything and whatnot. And I want, have you ever had some experience something like that before?
Yeah, I feel like in yeah, it's like I don't know if it was art block, but it was like it was a combination of things. It's like, yeah, one, you're not as consistent as you used to be, so you may
Mm-hmm.
have fallen off a little bit. And two, yeah, you're like, oh, I kind of forgot how to draw. Usually when I would hit that point, I would like pick up like a drawing book just to like sketch out some fundamental studies or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But then there was a point, a weird point in time, I feel like in like maybe 2014. It was a time where I thought I was nicer than I was.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I just thought like I had a misconception about other artists.
Mm-hmm.
I like, for whatever reason, I didn't realize like people still used reference,
Uh-huh.
like reference imagery. And I was like, I could freehand anything. And then it'd be like, well, not really anything. Because like this face looks crazy. This perspective looks terrible. This guy's face doesn't make any sense. You might want to consider a reference every now and then. I discovered a guy named Kim Jung-gi,
Man.
and I was like, you thought you were Kim Jung-gi, like you're not even Kim Jung-gi's like intern apprentice, like you
Mm-hmm.
ain't even a student of Kim Jung-gi, like you are actually trash when you think about it. And sometimes you need that. I know
Mm-hmm.
it's like we're all our worst critics, but I was just like, no, 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 no. You are like, you got to get it together. You can't be talking shit when you're like, yeah. Anyway, I say that all that to say, like, I studied him a lot and I learned like the reason he's able to draw from imagination so well is because he studied for like 20 years
Mm-hmm.
and just kept adding to his like visual library. And I kind of learned the importance of a visual library, the importance of studying, the importance of like, just like, I'm not going to say I'm an anatomy expert by any means, but I think being such a big anime fan and like
Mm-hmm.
that was like the first thing that I ever would draw,
Mm-hmm.
it like kind of skewed my abilities a little bit because I was like, oh, I just have to draw the body the way like it looks in Dragon Ball, and that's correct. Or like a face, and then you learn like, oh no, like that's a specific style. That's not like how a human face looks. Like you're trying to apply like a, a Dragon Ball upbringing
Yeah.
to like drawing a portrait of like your grandfather, and it
Yeah.
just doesn't make sense. And then I eventually kind of learned just from, yeah, just from like seeking out knowledge and information about like, okay, let's break down how the face works.
Mm-hmm.
So now, like, I don't know if you've seen, like, there was a time I was doing like ink drawings, like ink portraits that are just like quick 15-minute drawings where I just use a ballpoint pen.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like picked up enough, I guess, knowledge about how a face works, how like like little things like it would be like tip of the nostril should be parallel to the pupil
Mm-hmm.
or parallel to the corner of the eye or like the pupil should be parallel to the corners of the lips.
Mm-hmm.
that alone like was like a big level up for my face sketching.
Mm.
Just little stuff like that, or like learning how to cross hatch, how to shade. Um, that was all of that was eye-opening, or just like learning that everybody uses references, and like
Yeah.
if you want your work to look better, you should use a reference.
Yeah.
And I mean, like now one of the fa my favorite things to do when I'm planning a comic book page is like I'm like, okay, this is what is happening on this page. This is what's happening in each panel. Let's make a reference for the panels. So like right now I'm behind, but this is the page I'm working on, or like these are two panels I'm working on. And I literally like photoshopped a few images of like different women eating ramen
Mm-hmm.
to make it fit how I wanted her to look eating
Yeah.
ramen. Because I think like I had like the top was like, okay, I like how she's eating the ramen, but she
Mm-hmm.
wasn't using a bowl. So I
Yeah.
found another girl using a bowl. I cut
Yeah.
her hand and the bowl out and put it. And now it's like that's like a fun part of the creative process is to like build a reference, collage it together, and then draw it on by hand.
Right.
But that was kind of a tangent. But your question was kind of like, do you remember a time of like struggling to get back into it? I'd say, yeah, it was a combination of one, I'm like, yeah, something feels off about my skill set, but I feel like I thought I was really good, and then discovering people that are really, really good, and
Mm-hmm.
then learning like what they did to get really good. And I was like, okay, I just have to like be a kid again and absorb again at 22, 23.
Yeah.
You know, at 22, 23, I was like, I've been drawing from like age 7. Like I'm lit. I'm the man at drawing." And it's like I really wasn't.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a combination of getting self-aware and getting excited to like be a fan of like other artists
Mm-hmm.
and pick up on their techniques. There were years where I wasn't producing as much, but I was watching a lot.
Yeah.
And those, I have memories of those periods where it would be like, 3 to 6 months of just like kind of doodling and figuring it out and just applying what I'm learning on the low. And then the following year, I like start making original art again. And I'm just like, oh, it's like I graduated
Mm-hmm.
to a new level.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd say like anybody that's feeling like a block or feeling like, man, I think I fell off or I don't remember how to draw. It's just like, just go online, look at your favorites and try to learn something from them.
Mm-hmm. Somebody else also said if you have an art block, get back to the fundamentals.
Yeah.
Do your hand sketch pages and stuff.
And another thing with art blocks specifically is like, do something that like makes you want to draw.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes watching a cool ass movie makes you want to draw things from that movie.
Yeah.
Like I did a lot of that. I always mention like Blade Runner is like one of my favorite movies, just because I love the cyberpunk setting,
Mm-hmm.
and Blade Runner 2049 is like considered like one of the best sequels of movie history.
I gotta
So I'll
watch
like
both of those.
I'll throw that on. You have it, or you need
Nah,
to?
I need to. I haven't seen Blade Runner or the sequel. Don't judge
Oh
me.
yeah, no. It's funny because I watched the sequel before watching the first one, which
Mm-hmm.
might be blasphemy, but I was like, this movie kind of fire. And then I was like, let me go back to the one from the 80s, and I'm like, dang, this is kind of fire for an 80s movie. But yeah, like movies like that, or like I'm trying to think, or like your favorite anime. I'm like, I don't even have any Blade Runner fan art, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like watching the movie makes me feel like inspired to world build
Yeah.
and to like, craft characters and whatnot. So that's usually my art block tip is like watch something that makes you want to draw.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't find it in time. It's somewhere in my house. It might be in the closet or in my drawer. But I actually got a. I don't remember. I want to say it was a giveaway. I think he did a giveaway some years ago, and
Really?
I remember it was a button, and I can't remember what was on the button, but I do remember it came in an envelope. It was a little sketch in there of like a brain. I think it was a brain or a cloud. It was pink.
Oh, it was the pink night demon cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I was trying to find. I was looking for like 3 days for it. It's somewhere.
Man,
It's somewhere in my house. It might be in the back of the closet with my old sketchbooks and stuff. But
that's awesome.
it's in there
I forgot
somewhere.
I did that.
I was hoping I could find it. Be like, you remember this? But I couldn't.
That is funny. That is really funny. I was just talking about this with another friend. I'm like, I feel like I'm guessing this was like from 2016, if I had to
Yeah,
guess, or
yeah. It was so.
2017.
Yeah, it was somewhere in there.
I'm like, that was like the golden era of Instagram and social media.
Hmm.
Because I feel like I would put stuff out and I would garner like real support from people that
Hmm.
really messed with it. And then if I was doing a giveaway, it like felt good because it was like, yo, people actually want this giveaway. Now
Yeah.
if I put up one of those Instagram stories with like a sticker that says, if you want a free print,
Hmm.
comment here, it'll get seen by 4 people and maybe zero or one of those people will be like, I want a free print.
Yeah.
But in 2017, it was like if you put out a post like that, like people pulled up and
Oh
like
yeah.
it's not even like it's not I'm not blaming the people didn't change, but like the way the algorithm is built is so weird and funny now.
Social media just completely different now than it
Yeah,
was back then too.
for sure, for sure. I'm like, I remember just yeah, and again, it's one of those things where I look back and I'm like, my work is so much better now. And I'm like, if social media was just as good as it was back then, with how good I am now, or
Yeah.
how much more I've improved, like if I could go back in time and bring my current skill set to back then it'd be over with.
Yeah. It's apparently the way to go now, especially with artists like combating AI. They say get your own website.
Yeah?
There's a lot of I won't say let me not say a lot, but a couple of professional artists that I've talked to or like seen like online. They're like, yeah, with the rise in AI and it's stealing everything, your best bet is probably to get your own website, at least for now.
Yeah. I
But
mean, I wouldn't be surprised if, well, I'm like, in theory, they shouldn't be able to steal from your website. It's like, I don't even know what this AI stuff. AI is so
yeah.
crazy. And on one hand, I'm like, this might be a petty thought, but I'm like, there was a period where people were like trying to pay like $10 or like, yo, can you just give me a drawing of like my Twitter avatar
Hmm.
for $10? And I'm just like, man, I am not trying to waste my time doing that. I'm just like, I'm just not trying to do that. I'm like, I have limited time. I work full time. I got a busy life. And I'm like, in my free time, I'm just trying to get this original art off the ground. And here go Susie 337 talking about, can you sketch my Twitter or Instagram avatar? And I'm just like, no, I don't want to. But the petty thought that I have is I'm like, AI is great for those people.
Yeah.
Those people that are like, I only got $10 for your art. I'm like, let them knock themselves out with you know the avatars they want to use on their social media or like whatever greeting cards they're trying to put together.
Hmm.
So I'm like, for those people, that's fine. Where it sucks is like people that work at companies like Pixar and Disney, like those artists. I'd be worried if I was one of those artists and it was like, yep, I'm trying to, I just signed on to do Toy Story 7, but
Hmm.
they just laid off everybody because ChatGPT is going to do all the animation
Yeah.
or, whatever, Midjourney or one of those programs.
Yeah.
So that sucks.
Yeah.
That's terrible. But for like situations where it's somebody trying to lowball an artist, I'm like,
Hmm.
just go use ChatGPT, bro.
Yeah.
Stop trying to lowball me. for this weak commission I don't want to do anyway.
Yeah, yeah. They better hurry up. Apparently, AI just gonna run out of money, but early 2027, it
I
might.
heard about this too.
Yeah, it might get shut down. So we'll have clean, drinkable water. Hopefully, again, if it's not too polluted.
Yeah, that is wild. It's been like everybody's gung ho about AI, and then yeah,
Hmm
now they talk about it about to go bankrupt.
Might
I
it
don't know
might be
what's,
for the best, honestly.
yeah. I mean, I'm like, this is what y'all get for like not using AI to do the shitty tasks of being an adult,
Hmm
you know? Like, give me some AI to like handle garbage and laundry day or, just like chores around the house, not to
Instead, I
like,
got make these like 100 unfunny videos. Like, oh, here it go.
yeah.
I you play? Are you a gamer? Would you say you're a gamer, or do you just like games?
No, I'd say I'm a gamer. I'm
Hmm
like a selective gamer,
Okay.
which is funny because I'm like, you still play a lot of games though.
hmm
But it's like one of those things where I'm like I'm thinking of like last year. I'm trying to think of like big games that people were talking about last year was like Claire Obscure,
hmm
Expedition 33, Split Fiction was a big name,
hmm
and I'm trying to think of others. Mafia the Old Country, Ghost of Yote, Arc Raiders, and there's way more, but I'm just like, those are the first few that I could think of. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I played Ghost of Yote and I played a little Arc Raiders. Even I'm not really a multiplayer guy, but I
hmm
wanted to like see what it was about for a little bit. But Ghost of Yote was probably like my favorite game last year. But yeah, I'm like the heavy gamers probably played everything, but I'm like,
hmm
I don't have endless money and time to
The
play everything
same.
that came out. And some things, and here's where I'm selective. I'm like, Split Fiction was like, that was that co-op game, I think, that
Yeah.
everybody was talking about. I'm like, I don't have anybody to like come to the crib. We about to put two controllers together and play this game.
Oh, you can play it online. All you need is a
Oh, really?
copy. All you need is a copy, and your friend can download a Buddy Pass for free, and it's cross-platform.
Okay, okay. Even that. So at first I thought it was couch co-op specifically. I'm like, what grown adult is calling their grown adult friend to come to the house to play this game?
We're gonna link up on one Saturday next month.
Yeah, right. And then I'm like, okay, even if it's online, I also here's where I'm also like nitpicky or selective, is I'm like, when I'm playing a game, I'm trying to escape into that world
Hmm
by myself.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't really play online stuff. I don't really care for the co-op stuff.
hmm
I'm just like, I'm trying to experience this escapism on my own. It's been a long day or a long week.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm like, I'll hang out with my friends in real life. It's also because like I grew up in the 90s, early 2000s with friends that didn't really play games.
Yeah.
So like I would hang out with friends and then when I wanted my game time, I would play my games at home,
Yeah.
by myself. Or if it was like a multiplayer game where it's like PvP, like a Call of Duty or something,
hmm
which I haven't played Call of Duty in a good 17 years, but that was like, yeah, basically what I'm saying is I would separate my friend time and my game time because my
Got
game
you.
time was escape from reality time.
Yeah, I understand.
So, um, but yeah, yeah, so I'm like, I think I'm like a story gamer first,
Hmm
story mode gamer, open world, RPG games, fantasy RPG, like, uh, obviously, Ghost of Yote was like a Japanese open world RPG.
hmm
The GTA genre, of course, of games, the Red Dead
Yeah.
Redemptions. Um, I'm like, what other games do I be playing? I'm a big fan of The Witcher 3. That's a game I keep talking about because I'll get a new game that's like kind of Witcher 3 like. Like I
hmm
got Dragon's Dogma 2 a couple years ago.
Okay.
and I was really into it for like 30 hours, and then I was
Mm.
like, I should just go back to Witcher 3 because I haven't finished it yet. And I find myself like anytime I play a medieval RPG, I end up going back to Witcher 3.
Mm.
And then I went back enough that I actually finished it.
Yay.
And now I'm like, okay, so now you still got like Final Fantasy 16 was kind of given Witcher 3, but not really like in a Final Fantasy setting.
Yeah.
Still need to finish that. Dragon's Dogma 2 is still unfinished for like 2 years now. I'm like looking at my stack of games right now. But yeah, it's like a variety of like RPGs, open world shooters,
Hmm.
open world crime games, that kind of thing. So
Okay.
I'm like, I would say that makes me a gamer, but
It does. If you
yeah,
play
I'm
games, you're
like,
a gamer. That's how I
yeah,
feel.
yeah. No, I know. I'm like, I'm just not maybe I've been seeing too many gaming influencers who literally play everything.
They got the money and time. They send
I'm
them
like,
free
all right,
copies.
right. So I'm like, I'm a normal gamer, not a
Yeah.
gaming influencer who can play everything.
I don't know if you played it before, but Cyberpunk 2077. I think you like it if you haven't.
I did. I really
Okay.
liked it. I got the DLC, but I didn't get through it.
Okay.
Or I beat the story, but I didn't beat the DLC.
Okay. Yeah.
My one gripe with this game is I wish it was third person.
A lot of people said,
Man, I can't. I'm like my hot take is RPGs shouldn't be first person because I'm like so I get to customize this character, but I can never look at him.
that you go to the mirror.
Yeah, or the pause menu.
Yeah.
And I'm like, for the longest, I was like, they keep dropping updates. One of them is going to be third person mode, and they never did it.
I think well, I don't know what you play on, but if you play on PC, I think there's a third person mod for those people that want that.
Unfortunately, I play on PS,
Okay, well, you gotta
so I
play.
never get the
Yeah, you gotta
advantage.
go play what you got.
Yeah, that's the struggle with that. What do you play on PC?
Depends. I have some of everything, but when I'm streaming, if I can get the game on PC, I'll play it on PC.
I
Sometimes
say,
I throw a couple mods in there.
mm,
Nothing too crazy, just a couple slice of life mods, make it look a little better or run a
yeah,
little smoother. I try not to be too OP.
right. That's funny.
But I just asked because I know earlier you mentioned a couple games that inspired your art, and you
Yeah,
mentioned one of the best series ever, Final Fantasy VII.
yep,
And that's a series near and dear to my heart, and
yeah.
looking forward to part 3 next year.
What did you think of the remakes? I really enjoyed them.
I did too. I'm glad it held up. I think it held up really well. It did. It took what the original did, made some of the stuff that didn't make sense, and it
Yeah,
made it added enough of a new element to where it doesn't feel completely different, but it feels different enough to where I'm not just playing a scaled up version of the old game.
right. And I
So,
remember getting the Final Fantasy VII on PS1 as like a
mhm,
birthday present, but I got it like I'm trying to think like if it was the same year that the game came out or if it
mhm,
was like a year later or something. Because I never finished the original game.
mhm,
I got it, I started playing it, it was 3 discs. I might have got to the second disc
yeah,
if I remember correctly, but it was at the time that like the PS2 came out.
okay,
So I upgraded to PS2. So that would have to mean, no, I got it late. I got it late because I missed Final Fantasy 8 and 9.
mhm,
My first Final Fantasy was Final Fantasy 7.
mhm,
Didn't know about 8 and 9, or maybe I just like wasn't paying attention. But I just remember getting the PS2 very shortly after, and
mhm,
then getting Final Fantasy 10. And
hey,
10 to me was like an upgraded 7
mhm,
because like it was still turn-based combat, main character's blonde and has a sword,
yeah,
but it was like voice acted
mhm,
and with better graphics. So I ended up going all in on that one.
yeah,
Yeah, because I think Final Fantasy X came out when I was 12, and I think I got Final Fantasy VII at like 10 or 11.
mhm,
So it was very shortly after that I upgraded, and then I didn't end up going back to it, or I would try to go back to it later, but then I was off to the races. I was on to Final Fantasy 12,
Yeah.
which I really liked. Never finished that game, but I really liked it. Then PS3 comes out, I get Final Fantasy 13. Didn't love that one as much,
Mm-hmm.
but I just remember playing it on PS3. PS4 comes out, I get 15, which I'm like close to finishing, but it's still in my backlog. And then I hear that they're doing a remake, and I'm like, oh, I'm so ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
Played through 7 Remake, really loved it. Played through Rebirth, really loved it. And to me, I'm like, I don't know. I feel like they got that game has the best combat in Final Fantasy game series. I'm like, can y'all just
Rebirth.
do this combat
Mm-hmm.
every time? Like, why we gotta switch it up? Let's just, I know you guys like to switch up characters and
Mm-hmm.
stories, and that's cool, but like, you got the combat right, which is funny because I think there's a big part of the internet that's like, nah, this combat sucks. We want turn-based. That's all we want.
Yeah, I seen that a lot too. They're like, bring back turn based. I don't like this action, whatever, whatever.
Yeah, I loved it. I'm like,
Me too.
it makes it so engaging.
Mm-hmm.
And it still is turn-based, but it's like you gotta build up your turn basically.
Yeah.
Like build up that stagger meter, build up the ATB gauge.
Yep.
It just made it like you're locked in when you're playing and it's a fun
Yeah.
time.
You better be.
Whereas turn-based, you're just like, okay, attack. Now I'm sitting here waiting for the attack,
All right.
which is still fun sometimes. I
Yeah.
heard in Clair Obscur it's pretty engaging too, but I haven't
Yeah.
tried that game.
No, they a lot of people, not nothing bad, but a lot of people when you try it, a lot of people had something to say about the I think it's a dodge mechanic. That's all I'm gonna say about it.
Yeah, I heard something about the parry.
Yeah.
And I'm like, parrying in a turn-based, that
Yeah.
sounds interesting.
Yeah, once you experience it, go on TikTok and type in Claire Obscure, whatever, Perry, and all the TikToks had me dying laughing.
Really?
Yeah. So before we get out of here, I'm gonna ask you a couple quick questions. Like, what's some of your favorite games and some of your favorite anime off the top of your head?
Mm. Um, Favorite anime. It's like obviously my introduction to anime was the Dragon Ball series, and I feel like it like messed up my understanding of other anime.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is, as a kid, I was like, oh, this is the greatest cartoon ever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's drawn so well, it's animated so well. And then I watched like, or I tried to watch something else, and I'm like, why do they draw their characters like that?
Yeah.
That's not how like a nose or a body or muscles should look. Like it's just
Mm-hmm.
like skewed my brain.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember looking at Naruto and thinking like it looked weird. I'm like, why are they drawing the faces like that? I
Yeah.
didn't comprehend like styles at the time yet. But then later, I got into Naruto. I still haven't finished. I finished Naruto, but I never finished Shippuden, which I need to because I mean it's a classic. But then later in my late 20s, early 30s, I started to go back to other animes that I never watched as a kid. And as an adult, what's it called? Cowboy Bebop is like
Mm-hmm.
my comfort show.
Okay.
Like I play that sometimes when I'm just like on my phone messing around, I'll just put Cowboy Bebop on the TV as like
Mm-hmm.
background noise
Yeah.
because I've seen it so many times now. So that's like a favorite in my adult life. But Cyberpunk Edge Runners
Mm-hmm.
was a really good one to me in recent years. I'm here for a good like 13 to 20 episode anime these days.
Yeah. Same.
I still haven't finished Demon Slayer, but I liked the Demon Slayer format because I think when it first came out, it was like 20 episodes,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been like, I don't know, 4 seasons or however they broke it up in sagas
Yeah.
or whatever. I like Demon Slayer. I'm trying to think. I'm like, what threw me off with it was, I'm like, is this just new age anime that the character gotta burst into tears every 3 episodes.
I guess it just depends on the protagonist.
Because I tried to watch My Hero Academia, and I'm like,
Hmm.
why is bro crying every 5 minutes? I just couldn't get into it.
Hmm. I still haven't seen that, honestly.
Man, I was like, Naruto would never cry this hard. Like when Naruto was crying, it was because bro was in pain. Like these new anime characters are a little soft compared to the old guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like favorite animes, I guess, off the top
Okay.
is like if I got nothing to watch, I'll throw on Cyberpunk Edge Runners or Cowboy Bebop.
Hmm.
And but to be honest, I got a big backlog with
Okay.
anime. The same way I got a backlog with these games. Favorite games, I would say like Red Dead 2, Witcher 3. I really loved Spider-Man on PS4.
Okay.
And Spider-Man 2 was good too. I just felt like it was short.
Hmm.
Cyberpunk was really good. I really enjoyed it. Even as a guy that doesn't like first-person games, I
Hmm.
really liked it. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm trying to think. The Ghost games, Ghost of Tsushima and
Yeah.
Yote were classics to me.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'd
Okay.
say those are the top, at least from the modern era.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
you. And one last question before we get out of here. What does art mean to you?
Art is life, art is expression, art is necessary. Yeah, art is life. I feel like it's I say this to people that think they're not creative, that are like, I can't draw anything. I'm just like, even if you can't draw anything, like to kind of like exist in this world without losing your mind, I think we all could use a creative outlet, whether
Hmm.
that's like writing or podcasting or even the live streaming, drawing, yeah, like doodling. Even if you're not an artist, you're just like doodle on some notebook paper. Like I feel like it's a good form of meditation. It always has been for me. So it's like it's one of those things where I'm like, whether this art takes off or not, I'm gonna do
Hmm.
it because I got these ideas and they gotta come out anyway.
Yeah. Okay. No, I completely agree. I like that. Well,
Yeah,
Muddy, I appreciate you coming on. Don't let this be your last time on.
no, we
You
gotta do
know,
it again.
for sure. And I had a great time. Great first
Me too.
episode of the year.
Yay,
And we'll run it back again sometime.
great, man.
You
I
know.
appreciate it. Thank you for
Of
having me.
course, anytime. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. You guys be blessed and prosperous, and we will catch you next time.
Peace.